After months of doing his job from home and teaching health classes over Zoom, Chicago public school nurse Dennis Kosuth is expected back inside this building for the first phase of the district's reopening plan. But unless there's an emergency...
I've been working outside, so I've got 4 pairs of pants on. I've got these Sirius boots. These are Canadian boots. I got 2 hats on. I've got 2 gaiters. I got my mask on. And this is how I stay warm.
Teachers at another school on the northwest side of the city did the same, despite being called inside last Monday, instead conducting their virtual learning outdoors to let the district know they don't approve of the reopening.
December was the deadliest month in this country from coronavirus. People may have been traveling during winter break. I don't know where people have been. And we're going to have kids come into school 7 days after that and think that this is going to be just great. I mean, I don't think it's safe to have students in buildings right now. I don't think it's safe for staff to be in buildings.
By Friday, Chicago Public Schools said about 65% of teachers and staff had reported back in person. The district says it's poured over $100 million into preparing school buildings for the return of over 77,000 pre-K through 8 and cluster group students who've opted for in-person learning. This includes a district-wide ventilation assessment, HEPA filters for each classroom in use, safety signage, and PPE bundles for the hundreds of schools reopening in the next month. But with COVID cases rising in Chicago and Illinois surpassing the 1 million case mark last week, teachers like Dennis say the risk of reopening is still not worth it. In a press conference Friday, the city's mayor, Lori Lightfoot, reaffirmed the decision to reopen.
I know you are anxious. I know many of you are scared. And I understand that. We are doing everything that we can to place safety in this pandemic at the front and center of what we are doing, and using the learning from other schools' experiences to our benefit, but importantly, to the benefit of our school community.
The city's positivity rate has remained around 10% in recent days. Bars and restaurants in the city are open for outdoor service only, but Chicago's parochial and some private schools have been offering in-person learning for months.
Many of these schools are in exactly the same neighborhoods as our CPS schools.
The CEO of Chicago Public Schools says reopening some schools now is a matter of equity, adding that teachers who don't show up to school this week for the students' return will be considered absent without leave.
When we look at student engagement with remote learning, we see huge gaps, in particular on the south and the west side of Chicago, which is predominantly African-American communities throughout the city.
Absolutely true, but who's actually signing up for in-person learning? It's the neighborhoods that are predominantly whiter, that tend to be more wealthy, that have opted to have their kids in schools.
The Chicago Teachers Union responded to the city's decision to push forward with the reopening in their own press conference.
The level of care that comes from the people who run this system, it really sucks. I'm trying not to be emotional. My 6-year-old nephew was the first person in my family to contract COVID. I've had 4 other family members since him, with 2 of them right now in ICU.
I mean, I appreciate doctors saying that kids need to be in school. My own kids need to be in school. I take the point. I would say to the doctors, they don't necessarily know what conditions are like in CPS buildings. There's a long history where we're told things will happen that don't happen.
One of the things music teacher Quentin Washington wants to see at his school is mandatory testing.
We need to have like professional sports type of testing where we're being tested regularly, and CPS's current policy is voluntary for staff, but that's not adequate.
Quentin is also worried that splitting classrooms in person and virtual will be even more detrimental than a fully remote system, especially for diverse learners.
That's unfair to the people that are on remote learning.
We heard from parents who had similar concerns and chose to keep their students at home, and others who were looking forward to their kids' return.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.